Do you know that the number one reason for why men are not feeling fulfilled in life is not because they haven't achieved their dreams yet, it's because of the lack of consistency that they have on a daily basis. The constant roller coaster of unpredictability literally cockblocks good habits from forming, and it leaves men reliving their bullshit, underachieving lives on a constant cycle. So if you want to maximize your efficiency and take part in an optimal routine for men, I'd highly suggest that you stick around. I wish I'd seen a video like this a few years ago, man. I really do, because I needed it. I needed it badly. You know, my life was such a mess, and my lack of routine was leading me to a path of mediocrity. And that word just does something to my body, and it makes me feel like just shit. Mediocrity, like averageness, it's just vile. You know, imagine settling for that. Like, it's just terrible. Honestly, I couldn't think of anything worse, but that's what I was heading for. I mean, this was me. You can see the state that I was in, you know, taking drugs, drinking alcohol, and they were just a side dish to what was going on in my house. You know, I was completely unfocused. I had no energy. I was a complete wimp, like, to the man that I am today. Like, in comparison, I mean, me right now would destroy this little kid. Like, I actually get annoyed when I see him, but I can't get too annoyed because I'm actually grateful. I'm grateful for this guy because he gave me no choice but to improve my life and improve my routine and improve the way that I hold myself, you know? So I'm grateful for this guy. But at the time, I was struggling. I really was. And to be honest, I didn't really know what to do about it. I didn't know if I was just like a lunatic, if I was just being crazy. I mean, I'd literally sit in my bedroom for hours upon hours and I would just, you know, watch porn, and I just feel like such a degenerate, and I had no consistency, I had no structure to my day, I was doing nothing productive, and, you know, it led me to a path of feeling like a complete waste of a life, and I felt terrible, and I didn't really know how I was going to get out of it, you know. But I then started boxing, and I slowly started to rebuild my life through the use of holistic self-improvement, and fighting was a massive part of that. What are the things that you want to be doing as part of a routine to not be this guy? And essentially it comes down to, as I said earlier, having structure, and the way you have structure is by having a daily routine. Now, this routine is not just going to be the bullshit stuff that makes, you know, that makes it sound cute and sexy and, you know, all of these things, because there are too many videos online that talk about routines and actually they don't really have that much of an effect on your life. And I remember when I first started out on this self-improvement journey, I would watch videos of these guys talking about routines, and they'd tell me to have a cold shower, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, do all of this stuff. And yeah, like, it's a temporary good feeling, I guess, but it doesn't actually move the needle. It doesn't actually improve your life, because to improve your life, you need to focus on the core issue. There's no point in, you know, focusing on all the little issues on the outside, because they're not really going to have much of an effect on your life. It's the core issues that you want to be focusing on. So essentially, this is the routine that you want to be doing every single day to really move the needle. Okay, so you're going to wake up in the morning with meaning, and I've spoken about this before. Essentially, when you wake up with meaning, you wake up with intent. So as soon as you wake up, you don't lay in bed. You're going to get straight up out of bed. You're going to do a small task, whatever that may be. Maybe you'll go for a short walk. Maybe you'll go into the kitchen to get a glass of water. Maybe you'll get changed in some fresh clothes, or whatever it may be. But essentially, this small task is going to allow you to wake up your body, because it's so common nowadays, specifically for young men to wake up, or just, you know, young people in general to wake up and instantly go onto their phone. Now, you know, this does inevitably wake up your eyes, slowly but surely. What it doesn't do is it doesn't wake up your body. So when you start your day in that way, and you haven't started the engine, as in you haven't started your body properly, how do you expect the rest of the day to pan out? Wake up with meaning, get out of your bed, go downstairs, make some water, you know, make it yourself, you know, actually chop up some water, put it into a glass, and then eat it. You know, that's what you do with water, isn't it? But you get the gist. You want to be waking up with intent. The next thing you want to be doing is intermittent fasting. So essentially this means you're going to push breakfast back. Okay, so instead of eating it as soon as you wake up, you could maybe eat it 4 or 5 hours after you wake up, because what this is going to help you to do is stay focused during the day. And the reason for this is because when you're hungry, your body automatically goes into this state of fighting for survival, kind of. I mean, it's obviously not to that extreme, but when you're hungry, you're constantly chasing, you're constantly on edge, you're constantly wanting to be focused and energized because you need to catch your prey. And once you eat some cereal, or once you have whatever breakfast you eat, then you no longer are in that state of wanting to catch your prey. So you just end up feeling tired and fatigued. I mean, have you ever eaten a meal and then felt immediately exhausted afterwards? That's so common because, once you've eaten, your body just takes the time to break down all the nutrients and to break down all the food, and you don't have to work for that food anymore. And what you can do to make the most of this intermittent fasting period where, you don't actually eat anything is to do the task that moves the needle. So you can eat the frog, essentially, or Eat That Frog, which is a book by Brian Tracy, and he basically states that you want to do the thing that actually gives you the most results from that day. And a great question that you want to be asking yourself here when you do that task to actually figure out what the task is that moves the needle is, if this is the only task that I complete today, will I be satisfied with my day? And if the answer to that question is yes, then that is the Eat the Frog task that you should be doing. That's the task that's going to move the needle. Now, after you've moved the needle, you can break the fast. And a great way to break the fast is via a probiotic. And a good example of a probiotic that you can literally buy from the supermarket is a drink called kefir. It's spelt like this, Kefir. And essentially this is like fermented milk. It's like a mixture between fermented milk and like yogurt. And to be fair, if you buy it, there are different options, but the best ones are the ones that actually have a bit of a sour taste, so that when you drink it, it's almost a bit spicy, because they're the ones that have all the thriving bacteria, and your gut biome specifically is going to love that shit, man. It's going to absolutely love it. So to break your fast with that is going to set you up for the rest of the day in the most optimal way possible. So on the topic of food, after you have that probiotic, you want to be eating optimal nutrition frequently throughout the day. And by optimal nutrition, I mean eating real foods, okay? So nothing processed, nothing chemically made. You want to stay away from sugars. You just want to be eating real foods. So that's veg, that's fruit, that's meat, that's dairy products, that's eggs, chicken, beef, fish. All of these things are absolutely fantastic for you, and you want to be staying away from anything that's processed or made in a factory, because your gut biome absolutely does not love that, and it's going to tank your testosterone levels, and it's absolutely not a routine that you want to be getting into, okay? So consume optimal nutrition, and I'm going to give you a free diet plan, which you can get from the description below. This is going to help you to gain muscle mass, and it's also going to help you to feel on top of the world, sir. So definitely jump on that. And the last thing you want to be doing as part of the daily routine is, of course, working out. I mean, when do you ever regret working out? You always go to the gym, you come back and you feel like a machine, right? So kind of goes without saying. And we don't just want to be working out, we don't just want to be going for a run, we don't just want to be lifting weights. We want to be doing something that actually tests the mind. And a great way to test the mind, particularly for young men, is to get into martial arts. Go and do some fighting, learn how to fight, because this puts you in a position where you have to actually get out of your comfort zone. Essentially, you're taking a risk because you're going to be fighting other people or sparring other people. Obviously, you don't get thrown straight into the lion's den on day one, but essentially getting out of your comfort zone is what's going to lead you to grow as a man, and it's going to lead you to feeling confident, and it's going to lead you to feel like you can take on the world, and actually to feel more energetic, and it's going to allow you to improve all of these other parts of your routine. This kind of is like the emulsifier to the mixture, the emulsifier essentially is like the glue that mixes everything together. So absolutely get on that. And just in general, all of these things is a killer starter pack, right, to the daily routine. And then obviously you can start adding in other things like cold showers and meditating and journaling and stuff like that, which I've spoken about a little bit down here. You can start adding in a more profound sleeping pattern where you're getting in at least 9 hours of sleep at night. Obviously that is really important, and you want to be getting on it ASAP, but I wouldn't say it's as important as these things here. I'm not saying it's not important. You want to be getting on it pretty soon. That's why I put it at the top here. But, you know, it is possible to thrive on small amounts of sleep for a temporary period. I mean, just think about, you know, when you have a kid, when you have a child, how do parents all of a sudden function on like 4 hours of sleep every single night, you know, whilst they have a newborn child? It's because they have no choice, right? They get put on this pedestal where if they don't, you know, something could happen to the newborn. So it is possible, and it's all just mindset. But that's why it's a temporary thing, and you want to be getting on top of that as soon as possible. And obviously I've spoken about the martial arts. And then you can start adding some of these things into your routine, you know, like I said, cold showers, reading, meditation, no fap, journaling, and making your bed. You know, something really small that's going to be great for your daily routine, but it's not going to move the needle. You know, just making your bed every day in the morning is not going to give you the career of your dreams where you can retire your parents. And I feel like there are a lot of daily routines that always talk about this sort of stuff. It's insignificant, man. Like, it really is. Obviously it helps if you've made your bed, but it's not it's not going to give you everything that you've dreamed of and more, is it? Okay, so these are some things that you can add to the daily routine when you start to get more used to this main kind of collection of tasks, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, as I said, I'm giving you a free diet plan. Get that from the description below. This is going to give you muscle gain. It's going to make you look and feel incredible. Believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.